Hello, good evening and welcome to Breaking Views on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Ladies and gentlemen, on the show this evening, we'll discuss the fallout, the impact on the opposition unity and the road ahead of the 2024 elections, what we saw today, the groupings that we saw today, indications that came out as the parliament debated the bill on the national capital, Delhi. That's what is going to be our top focus, the much debated, more outside the parliament, and today finally inside the Lok Sabha as well. The government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2023, the centre's ordinance on the control of services in the capital, was passed in the Lok Sabha with a voice vote today. The debate saw sharp political attacks from both sides. While the Home Minister, Amit Shah, led the Treasury benches in his no-holds-barred attack on Kejriwal government, the opposition India Alliance voiced their disappointment over the bill. But crucial political talking points are now emerging as the bill is now set and will find its way to the Rajya Sabha for the ultimate test as far as the parliament is concerned. But before we move on, let's listen in to how it went down in the parliament today.
ना डेमोक्रेसी की चिंता है, ना देश की चिंता है, ना जनता की चिंता है, अपने गठबंधन को बचाने के लिए सारे लोग यहाँ आए। चाहे कांग्रेस हो या बीजेपी, जो भी आए, उनका मकसद दिल्ली की जनता की सेवा करना था। अगर सेवा करनी है तो झगड़ा करने की जरूरत नहीं, मगर अधिकार चाहिए तो झगड़ा करने। ये अध्यादेश और बाद में अब जो बिल में कन्वर्ट हो रहा है, वो विधेयक लेकर मैं आया हूं, ये संपूर्णतया संविधान सम्मत है और केवल दिल्ली की जनता के कल्याण के उद्देश्य से बनाया गया है। ये दिल्ली है, दिल्ली, और ये दिल्ली हमारा दिल है। तो ये दिल्ली के साथ बार बार क्यों छेड़खानी किए जा रहे हैं, ये मैं आप लोगों से पूछना चाहते हैं। जब चुनकर नुमाइंदे आते हैं, चुनकर जब लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली बनते हैं, तो क्या उनका लेजिस्लेट करने के अधिकार नहीं दिया जाएगा, सब छीन लिया जाएगा? ये लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली को खत्म करते हुए ये ब्यूरोक्रेट्स पे सारे जिम्मेदारी, सारे अधिकार ब्यूरोक्रेट्स पे सौंपा जाते हैं। ब्यूरोक्रेट्स फैसला करेगा सरकार कैसे चलेगी, ये क्या सही होगा देश के लिए?
Now, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal took to Twitter to express his disappointment over the passage of this bill in the Lok Sabha. Mr. Kejriwal said BJP has promised time and again to grant full statehood to Delhi. In 2014, Modi ji had said he will accord complete statehood to the national capital on becoming the Prime Minister. Today, Delhi in the back, the people of Delhi have been stabbed in the back. Don't trust Modi ji's words in future. That's what Arvind Kejriwal said in his tweet, expressing his disappointment over the passage of this bill. But ladies and gentlemen, this bill has been a serious bone of contention between the BJP-led centre and Aam Aadmi Party-led Delhi government. Mr. Kejriwal making it an absolute condition for his entry in the India Alliance of Opposition. The passage of this bill in the Lok Sabha was a foregone conclusion with the brute majority that the BJP has. But the real test, and as Mr. Kejriwal called it, the semi-final ahead of the 2024 war, was the Rajya Sabha, where the bill will now, in fact, be debated. While the opposition alliance held its ground together, the number in Rajya Sabha hinges on three crucial parties: BJD, TDP and YSRCP. All of them have now expressed support to the government of India. Listen in.
Some excitement has been created by the Biju Janata Dal supporting this. The reason it's been done is not because we are supporting the BJP. We fight a very vigorous fight with the BJP on the ground level in our state. They are our principal opposition party. The Congress party has been wiped out of Orissa. The reason we support this is because we have studied the constitutional position of the power of this parliament to enact a law to say that an ordinance will not be allowed to be translated into a bill, I'm sorry, is begging the question. Therefore, today, yes, you can take a position politically and say, I will not support it, no difficulty. But don't say Parliament doesn't have the power. Let the Supreme Court decide whether Parliament has the power or not have the power.
With the backing of these three political parties for the Bharatiya Janata Party, even the Rajya Sabha number game seems to be a game, set, point and match to the NDA. Just take a look at how the numbers stack up now in the Rajya Sabha. The total strength 245, vacancies 7. Current strength 238, majority 120. NDA at 111. India Opposition Alliance plus the BRS 105. NDA has 111, YSCP 9, BJD 9, add 1 of the TDP as well. They come around to 130, easily going to pass this bill in the Rajya Sabha as well. So as the opposition is all set to lose the semi-final, ladies and gentlemen, what will be the impact of this and the support of the NDA has got from these three political parties? How is the picture of 2024 going to be? That is going to be our main talking focus. The big questions that we will try and analyze with our expert panel this evening. With the passage of the Delhi Services Bill, just a formality in Rajya Sabha now, is this a big setback for the Opposition Alliance India? BJD, YSRCP, TDP extend support to NDA, advantage Narendra Modi in 2024. What will be the fallout on Arvind Kejriwal's political future is also a big question at this moment. And can Opposition Alliance India mount an effective challenge against NDA in 2024? Last but not the least, what does this indicate for the larger battle that is coming ahead on the road to elections in the year 2024? That is going to be our top focus. And to discuss this, we have our expert panel ready, and joining us this evening, Mr. Sandeep Shastri, Director Academics, NITTE Education Trust and National Coordinator, Lok Niti Network. Sanjay Singh, Senior Journalist, is also joining us this evening. Smita Prakash, Editor, ANI, is also with us. Thank you so much for joining us on Breaking Views. I welcome all of you. I want to start with you, Mr. Shastri. Arvind Kejriwal termed this as the semi-final battle ahead of the 2024 election. Now with BJD, YSRCP, TDP all supporting the government, it seems to be a mere formality that this bill will pass the Rajya Sabha test as well. Can we now safely say that the opposition has lost the semi-final match ahead of the final of 2024?
Ankit, I think the rhetoric has drowned reasoning, and AAP is to a certain extent responsible for pitching it as a semi-final, which it decidedly is not. Because you are trying to compare a parliamentary battle with an electoral war, where the numbers in the parliamentary battle are pre-stacked, whereas the numbers in the electoral war, the mathematics is still unfolding. And the parties which are planning to back the government in the Rajya Sabha, the Biju Janata Dal, YSR Congress, TDP. Remember, these parties, when it comes to the 2024 elections, have a totally different perspective.
Absolutely.
In Odisha, the BJD is lined up against the BJP. There is no way in which the YSR Congress and BJP would have an alliance, though the issues for the TDP would be different. So yes, for the alliance of the opposition, this is a setback, which I don't know whether they can convert into a electoral issue. And for the NDA, given the numbers in their favor in the two houses, this I think was a predetermined victory for me. And I do not see this as a semi-final. I do not see this as a precursor to what is happening in the elections next year. I think next year's election is a totally different ball game. And it will be interesting to see how the two alliances use this situation to their advantage. And I think both have the potential to do that. So I go back to my point, Ankit. A parliamentary battle is very different from an electoral war.
Absolutely. But as you said, these optics and the hype was created by the Aam Aadmi Party, making it a precondition to join the India alliance, calling it the names that they did. Sanjay Singh, in that aspect, with the BJD, YSRCP, TDP even extending the support to NDA, electorally, as Mr. Shastri is saying, in 2024, it hardly means anything. Because the BJP will be the principal opposition, at least that's what the BJP thinks in Odisha, and also a significant player in Andhra Pradesh. Whatever the numbers stack up, that are not going to go in the NDA kitty.
Ankit, what is interesting here, Arvind Kejriwal calling it a semi-final. He perhaps forgets that one who loses semi-final does not play in final. So that way, calling semi-final election after election, since UP election, we are hearing semi-final. Karnataka was semi-final. These are semi-final. So one who loses again plays in final. So semi-final is not the word. Then he says backstab. So people actually backstab by whom? And who is backing backstabbing whom? That is a vital question open to people of Delhi. And we have a whole lot of issues. Yes, Arvind Kejriwal very successfully has put himself in the primacy in the sense that if you see Congress, which was opposing, Congress is today supporting, and I could see that Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary had great difficulty in he was speaking from a written text. As for the question that you are asking about BJP fighting against BJD in Odisha, against YSRCP in Andhra Pradesh, possibly with TDP again, either allying or against same position in other states. But remember that actually BJP is not looking for an alliance with BJD. In fact, BJP is wanting to be successor of BJD in Odisha, Naveen Patnaik, so to say. But again, the issue here is, as and when Naveen Patnaik has sided or opposed the government, he has sided or opposed the government on merit. That, I think, their BJD stands out in the ranks of opposition parties. And therefore, people actually, to an extent, actually admire politics of Naveen Patnaik. He's focused in his own governance.
Right.
And BJP, of course, is going to counter that in coming elections. That's not an issue.
Smita Prakash, but other interesting thing that we saw in the parliament today, while the focus was how the India alliance counters it, Aam Aadmi Party's lone Lok Sabha MLA, in his first session was thrown out because of the ruckus that he created. The fact remains that there were two other interesting things that took place. One, the BRS, which is not part of the India alliance, extended support to, in fact, Arvind Kejriwal against this bill to the India alliance. On the other hand, Shiromani Akali Dal, Harsimrat Badal was there and she spoke despite her differences with the Aam Aadmi Party, and she spoke against this bill. This also makes it clear that at least for the NDA, Harsimrat Badal SAD is not going back. It's very interesting permutation combinations that are playing out ahead of the 2024 elections.
I don't know whether they will not go back. 8 months is a long time, Ankit, in Indian politics. So just because today they have taken a stand, it could be just a bargaining measure. Nobody really knows how it will pan out in the next couple of months. There was 4 hours of debate, and I think 25 or 26 speakers spoke today. I think the Aam Aadmi Party just raised the expectation. I agree with Dr. Shastri that to make this as a kind of a litmus test for the success of this longevity of the India grouping, it was the numbers were stacked against the grouping. So it was pointless to make it as a litmus test for the success of this. So it's in the Rajya Sabha that all the action will be. The Aam Aadmi Party had hoped that it would, they would be able to get the numbers, like you said. Harsimrat and BRS spoke. Now the point is that they might speak, but will they vote? Because here you have the YSRCP, Telugu Desam and the Biju Janata Dal not voting with them. So today the clip that you pointed out of Pinaki, that was in the Lok Sabha. And as far as what Sanjay had said, that Adi Ranjan was finding it difficult and was reading it out at times from the text. The Congress party doesn't have speakers as such left in the Lok Sabha. With Rahul Gandhi gone and with Chidambaram gone, who's there other than Manish Tiwari and Adi Ranjan? And Adi Ranjan is not exactly very comfortable speaking in Hindi. So they were the opposition even lacked speakers as far as this is concerned. So the debate also, on the other side you had very strong speakers from the treasury benches. But it's indicative about how 2024 is going to be fought, which is that the BJP has got its act together via the NDA. They're doing their meetings, whereas the INDIA there are many fissures as yet which can't be papered over. They will have to get their act together very quickly.
Mr. Shastri, how do you see the impact of this fallout, particularly on Arvind Kejriwal? I was going through some numbers of the last election, 2019 Lok Sabha election. The BJP, of course, won all the 7 seats and had more than 45% vote share as far as the Lok Sabha is concerned. But the combined vote share of the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party was 3% more than the Bharatiya Janata Party. I know you would say that it's not easy arithmetic, 1 plus 1 doesn't become 2 in politics, but that it has some indications of how the battle can be fought if you want to defeat the BJP in 2024.
Ankit, 2 points on that. I think we are clearly seeing in the last decade the trend of the voter voting very differently in a Lok Sabha and an assembly election. So, sweep by the BJP in the Lok Sabha election in Delhi and a similar sweep by AAP in the assembly election is something we have seen twice now happening. On your second question, will the math add up for the opposition alliance? Will they be able to strike a deal in Delhi? Will the Congress and AAP come together? Now, that would be an interesting question to look at. And even if they were to come together, let's remember it's a Lok Sabha poll where the issues will be very, very different. The competition may become a little stiffer if the AAP and the Congress were to come together. But as you yourself rightly put it, it's not just a question of seat mathematics. It is much more a question of political geography on the ground.
Yes.
In terms of the parties, supporters coming together and a vote transfer happening, which is not just about an alliance between the leadership, but whether on the ground that alliance can be translated into reality.
And also on the ticket in 2024 is going to be Narendra Modi. So the question then will keep coming back, who is going to be possibly the face leading the India Alliance. Sanjay Singh, but particularly on Arvind Kejriwal, should this be seen as a big setback for him politically? Now, Delhi largely has been reduced as far as the Arvind Kejriwal model is concerned so far after passage of this bill, quite ineffective in the way he has been functioning. If he's not able to function the way he is used to, where does that leave Mr. Kejriwal in 2024? Punjab is the only other state where the Aam Aadmi Party is ruling, where they can hope to significantly win some Lok Sabha seats.
Ankit, answer to that somewhat lies the way you framed your question. See, Arvind Kejriwal in the 2019 election, BJP's vote share was 56% in Delhi, which was far more than combined vote share of Aam Aadmi Party and Congress.
You're right.
Having said that, in 2019 when elections took place, Arvind Kejriwal had relatively better kind of public perception than he has now, because in between history, Mahal, excise kind of scam, his health minister going into jail, out on health grounds. So many things have happened. In between, on flooding also, there had been too many things on which fingers were pointed out to Arvind Kejriwal. Then you also had COVID. In between, too many things have happened. Arvind Kejriwal very smartly tried to deflect everything, whatever the new package that was created on him, to this particular bill, And therefore, he went to state after state and put some conditions. And Congress, I don't know in what wisdom, actually put everything, all opposition parties in 2 meetings. Arvind Kejriwal was the talking point in the media. He wanted it that way, he got it that way. But by putting this thing, all emphasis on this thing, he actually has created an image amongst opposition parties, taking Mamata Banerjee, very strong vocal supporter on his side. He somehow has created a perception that he is the one who, even if he is not leading the alliance, actually is leading the alliance in some ways or the other.
Right.
Unfortunately for him, the way he hyped it, and the way this is going to fall, in Lok Sabha, of course, it had to fall. In Rajya Sabha also, it is going to fall with these parties coming together. Remember, he perhaps forgot either conveniently or otherwise that BJP with limited numbers on its own had passed abrogated Article 370 in Rajya Sabha, and where it had put the bill first.
Smita Prakash, is there a way that, and we have seen after like 2014 defeat of Arvind Kejriwal, he came back to 2015 election in Delhi and got a thumping majority. He was able to turn that loss into some sort of an opportunity for himself, going around asking people for their apology of leaving Delhi. And then he was able to retain the national capital despite losing in 2019 as well. Can Arvind Kejriwal in some way turn this around, or is this a very big blow that has taken place, because this is going to effectively hamper the way he functions? The style of his governance is going to get hampered.
It was anyway getting hampered. And I'll stick my neck out and say this, that if elections, suppose he was to dissolve today the House and he was to fight the elections today, Delhi will still vote for him simply because there is no opposition. The BJP is such a divided and shattered unit in Delhi. They've not got their act together for over 20 years. They've just not got their act together. Even Delhiites will vote for the BJP at the center. They might vote for the Congress also, but they may not vote for the AAP. But for Delhi, they don't have an option. Who do they go with? Look at the way the Delhi unit is. So if he was to just call the bluff and go to polls, he will still win in Delhi. I'll stick my neck out and say this. The other point that you just brought out about the Modi factor, in the 2024 election. Aam Aadmi Party has made this into Mooch ki ladai, this thing. And what you were pointing out, that he went about with it as if it was like something to be won on the floor of the House. Even if you didn't have the numbers, if you just wished for something, it will happen. It didn't. The opposition made, one, the Delhi bill, and two, the second wrong thing was that they made Modi, Prime Minister Modi, about that he isn't facing Parliament on the Manipur issue.
Right.
And they have held all activity in Parliament based on that they are not coming. And the thing is that if you look back in 2019, the reason BJP won so handsomely was the draw of Modi factor. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, some studies showed that the BJP was about 11 crore votes more than the opposition. And about 90% of the reason was the draw of Modi. And this is despite the high decibel campaign that Rahul Gandhi mounted about Chaukidar Chor hai, Rafale and things like that.
Right.
So, having learnt from that, in spite of that, they decided to attack Modi. In their great wisdom, they think that is the good way of doing it. Does that impact on the BJP? Just a couple of seconds more, Ankit.
Sure.
Does that impact on the BJP? The BJP will not take this lying down simply because they've got think tanks working on data, and they have studied the past elections to show that Mrs. Gandhi, despite her popularity, did lose her election. Rajiv Gandhi, despite a massive mandate, did lose an election. So they will not take for granted that despite the huge mandate that they had, that this 2024 is in the bag. They're going to work for it. They're going to study hard and work for it.
I'm almost out of time. Mr. Shastri, just quickly, concluding comments from you. Is there a lesson somewhere for the opposition alliance in this? Stick to the issues that you have taken up as far as people are concerned in Karnataka, the Mehengai, and the issues which are close to the people, instead of wasting your energy in trying to create narrative around bills like this, which people somewhere do not directly understand the impact of these bills on on the people in day-to-day life.
I think Smita made a very important point on the leadership factor. If the opposition alliance were to fight this election on issues, I think there could be an interesting fight that we see. If the opposition alliance is going to make it a leadership contest, I think they have lost the battle even before it is begun, because that is what the BJP would like this battle to be, a battle of leadership, where they have a clear leader to lead the alliance. Whereas even if the opposition were to come up with a leader at this stage, would they have enough time to be able to project that leader? So I think if the opposition makes this an issue-based campaign rather than a leadership-based campaign, you may have a fight. But the BJP would love it to be a leadership-based fight because it puts them at a decisive advantage.
And that is exactly the question that the BJP will keep throwing at the India Alliance. Who is the leader against Modi? That is something that possibly the Alliance will have to find their way around. Thank you so much to all my three guests for joining me and sharing your insights. Fascinating it is going to be, the road to the 2024 election. That's all the time that we have in this edition of Breaking News, ladies and gentlemen. News and updates continue on NDTV. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. Good night.